Expect fair skies Saturday through Monday with temperatures in the 70s on Saturday.
Well, shortly before midnight, we saw some very, very big-time storms developing right around eastern North Carolina, including the area right around Jacksonville and also right around Wilmington and New Bern as well. Those storms were diminishing by 2 o'clock in the morning and moving offshore. And we could be looking at more generous rains overnight throughout the Midwestern part of the country. More on that coming up in just a few more moments. But right now, let's take a look at the tropics. And right smack dab in the center of your screen, I'll take a look at that twist beginning to move its way towards the west and southwest. Alberto, once again, is still beginning to intensify one more time. Could it become a hurricane again for the third time? It may. High pressure's off towards the north, beginning to drive it to the west and southwest. It looks a little bit better organized again than it did 24 hours ago. And the latest stats right now on Alberto. Let's see what's been going on. There it is, 11 o'clock advisory, Atlantic Standard Time. 33.2 degrees north, 44.2 degrees west, or about 930 miles to the west-southwest of the Azores, right in through here. And again, you can see it's moving to the west-southwest rather rapidly again, up to 13 miles per hour. Top sustained winds now 50 miles per hour. It looks better organized, and because it's moving into some warmer waters, less shear, we could be looking at it intensifying even further during the day on Thursday and a Thursday night, and it may become a hurricane one more time. So making the big loop right now, not really bothering anybody. And before it would begin to bother anybody on the East Coast, it looks like it will begin to turn its way back towards the northeast within a few more days. So good news, even Bermuda right now looks like it will not be bothered by Alberto. So that's some pretty good news. We'll continue to monitor, though, during the next few days. The Gulf of Mexico, basically convection-free, just a few widely scattered showers and storms here and there. But near the coast, you're in great shape along Texas, over towards New Orleans, and most of the Sunshine State as well. We do have a vigorous tropical wave. Here it begins to move right now towards the islands. Not showing much organization as of yet. We do have some convection beginning to flare up. If that would persist, we could be looking at perhaps a depression trying to organize here, but nothing right now. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Moving on towards the west is this tropical wave. Could be affecting the islands by late Thursday and early on Friday, with some squally weather, at least some scattered showers and also some thunderstorms. Farther on towards the east, a tropical low is moving off the coast at the present time, showing a big time twist right in through here. And once again, it needs to be monitored, but it's a long ways away, at least if it would continue to develop, at least a week away from the islands, even more than that from ever affecting the east coast of the United States. Speculation is a long ways to go, but this is the time of the year you have to watch just about everything coming off the coast of Africa, because right now we are in the heart of the Cape Verde season. Let's go now and check on the eastern Pacific Ocean. Ileana right now, 8 o'clock advisory, Pacific Daylight Time. Top sustained winds 30 miles per hour, just milling around right now and moving to the west-northwest 8 miles per hour. And you can see we're not looking at much in the way of any convection right near the center of circulation. So overall, we're looking at a diminishing system as of the present time. Now let's come back to the lower 48. Big-time storms shortly before midnight. They were organizing rapidly over eastern and southeastern North Carolina. You folks around Jacksonville and also right around Wilmington and New Bern, you know what I'm talking about. You saw some bumpy weather for sure and some big-time rains up to golf ball size hail. And many counties in southeastern North Carolina have been reporting some tree damage, lots of trees and wires down. That's going to be a problem overnight, so drive carefully here. Other hotspots going to be throughout the Midwestern part of the country. The rains were back in a big way throughout southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, moving across the Badger State, and by morning maybe some generous rains too, where you see the darker green. Does include the area around Rochester, Toma, getting over there towards Manitowoc and Two Rivers, and just maybe some of these showers affecting Chicagoland by daybreak. Better odds during the morning hours after daybreak, but by later in the afternoon the rains will be shifting on towards the east. Stick around because your local forecast is next.
Hi, I'm Gary Collins.
Expect fair skies Saturday through Monday with temperatures in the 70s on Saturday.
In the tropics on this Thursday morning, Ileana in the Pacific is weakening, but Alberto is strengthening and could become a hurricane for the third time, believe it or not. Let's check out the features, which also includes a couple of vigorous tropical lows in the tropical South Atlantic, one about 600 miles east of the Leeward Islands. Right in here, the Sparrow's watching because some organization could take place today, and we'll watch it for you with frequent updates, of course. And the second one is a rather vigorous circulation to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. This is Alberto, which has been kind of going around in circles out here in the North Atlantic, originally taking a north and an easterly track and swinging around to the southwest yesterday. Alberto now is moving to the west at 7. Top sustained winds are 50. And Alberto is moving into warmer water, so a return to hurricane intensity is not entirely out of the question. But the bottom line is, again, it's a mid-Atlantic hurricane, and there's some ships out there that'll be affected, but it is not anticipated to affect any land, including Bermuda, as it heads west for a while and turns back to the north late today and tonight. West coast of Africa, Cape Verde Islands, here's that swirl, tropical low pressure, down around 10 degrees north, moving to the west, and another tropical wave or tropical low east of the islands, which we'll have to watch for you. But right now, the island's in good shape, including Antigua, Barbados, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Caribbean, no worries here, no tropical organization, and the Gulf of Mexico is looking fine on this Thursday morning. We have a final advisory for you concerning tropical depression, Ileana, once a tropical storm, of course. The low pressure system now moving west of Baja California, just a swirl moving out to sea at this time. Back to the States. Let's get an update on your Thursday weather, which for some of you will include a steady, soaking, chilly rain in Wisconsin and parts of northern Illinois. Other locations of the country, though, will have searing midsummer heat, and that will be in place from Texas and Mississippi to Alabama and Georgia today. Cool by comparison in the Northeast, and another cool Canadian high-pressure system is building south into the Dakotas and Minnesota. Lightning this morning, pretty frequent with the storms now in Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and now moving across the Wisconsin-Illinois border, heading for Chicago. It's pretty quiet now in the Windy City, but these storms are right on your northwest horizon and moving steadily in your direction. Expect them to move in just about the time you get set to head out for your trip to work or school, and with the showers, expect tropical downpours, frequent lightning, and perhaps some gusty winds. Now in Detroit, most of the precipitation here initially evaporating before it reaches the ground, but expect the clouds to lower, the rain to get steadier, and as a result today, along with an east wind, not only is it going to be wet, it's going to be unusually cool for mid-August. Expect highs only in the 60s. Again, Chicago overcast, showers and thunderstorms. Northwest of you, sliding in your direction. Eastern Iowa, stormy conditions. Cedar Rapids to Dubuque, all around the low pressure center in Iowa, which will slide east today. And by this evening, be located in east central Illinois. Behind it, the cooler, drier high pressure system sliding south out of Canada. Now that's the situation now in the Northeast. A northwest breeze, lower humidity, and fair to partly cloudy sky conditions. Lingering rain in Maine and up around the Presidential Range in northern New Hampshire. Otherwise, it's a dry situation, as it is in the south, as high pressure dominates the region. So the heat's the story in Dallas, Atlanta, Houston, and New Orleans, 95 to 100 degrees. The heat index even hotter, 107 in Little Rock. New Orleans, about 101 today. In Birmingham, nice by comparison in New York and Boston in the 70s, and in the 70s in Chicago, but only 60s in Green Bay as the sun comes out, 71 in Fargo, warming up to 70 in Seattle, and 80 today in Los Angeles. Now let's check on the weekend for you. Here's Cheryl.
Temperatures have been brutally hot across the plains and most of the deep south for the past few days or so. But luckily, as we move into the weekend, we'll try to shave back those temperatures just a little bit. But still some 90s and 100s camped over parts of Oklahoma and Texas. Still some searing heat, too, for the southwest. But look at the Great Lakes and portions of New England. We're talking about highs struggling just to hit the 60s and 70s. And for those of you making plans to go hiking or camping across the White or the Green Mountains of Vermont and New Hampshire, perhaps temperatures staying in the 50s. So prepare for that if you're heading towards the higher elevation. It's been pretty dry, too, across the south, but over the weekend, another frontal boundary will start to nose in across the Dixie states. We'll likely see a few spotty showers and storms flaring up for Alabama and for Georgia.
Expect fair skies Saturday through Monday with temperatures in the 70s on Saturday.
It's now 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Storm Watch. I'm Kelly Cass. We do have the potential for some strong storms across the Ohio Valley and dangerous heat in the south. I'll have more on all that coming up shortly, but first we need to check in on the tropics with our hurricane expert, John Hope.
Well, thank you very much, Kelly, and good morning, everybody. The main area of interest we have in the tropics this morning is a tropical disturbance, actually, a tropical wave centered about 550 miles now east of the Leeward Islands. Let's go ahead and talk about that and the other systems out in the Atlantic. First of all, we'll get you oriented here by showing you a shot that covers the entire Atlantic from Africa to the Gulf of Mexico. Right there is where our tropical disturbance is, not yet classified as a tropical depression. We think it has the potential, though, to become one, and perhaps rather quickly at that. Now, we have still Tropical Storm Alberto out here, which is now moving toward the west. That's had quite a circuitous path here, and it continues to do that. Now let's look at the disturbance east of the islands. We can clearly see that we have a pretty well-defined rotation here. Again, this is about 500 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands, about east of Guadeloupe or so, moving toward the west about 13 or 14 miles an hour. Now it's too early to say yet now whether it might actually bypass the islands or come very close. We suspect it will go a little bit north and due west as it moves out here. So we're going to monitor that very carefully. And again, this could be classified as a tropical depression, and we certainly wouldn't want to rule out the possibility of it being eventually a tropical storm. Of course, we don't know that yet, but we'll watch it very carefully for you. Now, as far as the infrared picture is concerned, the circulation center is right there, and what we don't have are any showers or thunderstorms right around the center. They tend to go in a ring from the northwest quadrant, northeast quadrant down to west of the storm. So we'll be following that very carefully to see what kind of a development we get. I would point out that this is a very favorable area at this time of year. This is where a whole lot of storms have developed in mid-August, so that is an area that we watch very carefully for that reason alone. Now, Alberto, you can see what the path has been here, and now it's moving about straight west. We expect it to hook around like so and go back up to the northeast. It's been out there now for 13 days, hasn't quite set a record yet for longevity. Ginger in the early 70s was there about 31 days. Here it is, appearing to get a bit better organized. A very good possibility, we think, that this will regain hurricane status once again. We'll keep you updated on that. The other tropical wave we've had out in the eastern Atlantic south of the Cape Verdes doesn't show any signs of organization at all. So that will do it this time. Let's get back to Kelly and find out about the thunderstorm outlook and the heat here in the USA.
That's right, John. We do have the thunderstorms, a good possibility here in the Midwest and Ohio Valley. In fact, already, excuse me, we have some stormy weather moving across Indiana and Ohio and also lower Michigan. Also, I want to point out that we have a special marine warning that's in effect for the southwest shores of Florida, including the Keys, where a waterspout was spotted not too far away from the airport in Key West. You can see the lightning strikes associated with some storminess just off the southern tip of Florida and also here in Indiana and moving into Ohio. This is where we have the potential for some severe weather later on today, at least after midnight tonight could have some damaging winds and perhaps some large hail with some of these storms as they trudge on toward the east. Current radar pictures showing a lot of the heavy rain moving out of northern Indiana and through Ohio. We'll have much more in Weather Center. That's up next.
You can jab him in the ribs. You can try to turn him over. You can put a pillow over his head. But nothing will stop that awful snoring.
Snoring can even ruin a romantic cruise. Hi, I'm Bernie Coppell, and I have something that will solve your snoring problems once and for all, guaranteed. This amazing product is called D-Snore. It's a unique It works instantly to moisten the membranes of your soft palate and allow free and easy breathing. You'll sleep without snoring all night long. D-Snore will work for you too. It's guaranteed. If you snore or have a loved one that snores, get D-Snore. It's just what the doctor ordered.
To order D-Snore, have your credit card ready and call the number on your screen. Find out how you can get 1 full month supply of D-Snore absolutely
Your area. Your extended forecast.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Storm Watch, which is sponsored by Certainteed. I'm Christina Abernathy. We're going to take a look at some stormy weather coming up, including a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for parts of Indiana and Kentucky. But we want to start you out with our tropical update. And here's what we're seeing out there. We actually have a new tropical depression to tell you about. That's just to the east of the islands, and we're also watching Alberto, which is still churning out there in the Atlantic. And we have as well another wave here that's moved off the coast of Africa, moving out through the Atlantic. At this point, it's pretty disorganized. We'll continue to monitor it, though. Here's the latest on Tropical Depression 6. The latest coordinates, 14.9 north, 53.5 west. The maximum sustained winds are 35 miles per hour. It's moving toward the west-northwest at 12 miles per hour, and the pressure 1,010 millibars. And again, we are watching it here, and we have seen now a circulation here at the surface, a closed surface circulation. Not seeing a lot of convection at this point, but what we are seeing also is the outflow limited with some shear that it is encountering. We do think there is a possibility, though, for it to strengthen, so that may be a possibility. We'll continue to watch it, and of course, all interest here as we head through the island should keep a close eye on it. We'll continue to keep you posted, but again, it is a tropical depression, and again, it could strengthen, so we'll watch it. What we're also watching is Tropical Storm Alberto out here in the Atlantic, which has done a bit of a loop here, and now moving off to the west. We think it may eventually turn more toward the northwest and the north, sort of moving around the periphery of an area of high pressure. There is also the possibility that it could strengthen once again to a hurricane. Now, if it makes it to tomorrow, at least tropical storm strength or greater, it will be the longest lasting tropical storm in August since we've been keeping records. So we'll definitely keep you posted on that. But again, it has been around for a while. I believe it's all the way back to August 4th. So again, a bit of a curiosity out here in the Atlantic. And again, moving to the west at 10 miles per hour, the pressure 994 millibars. We want to also take a look at a couple of our areas here, our wave, and of course also watching our tropical depression. Not much going on as we head through the Caribbean, at least not tropically speaking, nothing catching our eye in particular, and not much going on here in the Gulf either. But we'll continue to monitor all of these areas. And again, perhaps most interesting is what's going on with our Tropical Depression 6. Also, we have seen Ileana and Hector now no longer with us. So the Eastern Pacific at this point watching a sort of an area of convection here, but nothing again catching our eye at this point. Well, let's see what's going on a little closer to home, and we're watching some stormy weather in parts of Indiana and Kentucky. As a matter of fact, we have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect right now, and I believe we can take a look at that severe thunderstorm watch in Indiana and Kentucky, but at any rate, it's centered right about in this area. So damaging winds, large hail, heavy rain, lightning are possible. We've already had reports of golf ball size hail with this storm, and again, we'll continue to monitor that. Wet weather moving off to the east, more rain and maybe some storms with our area of low pressure here. And we are also watching the rain that's been moving through Pennsylvania, through West Virginia. And again, here's our watch box that extends from Indiana back into Kentucky. And stay tuned, we'll have more on all of this coming up next on Weather Center.
This program was sponsored by Certainty Building Products for durability and ease of use. Satisfaction guaranteed.
This is our dream house.
Some dream.
Come back down this way.
It took him 2 years to choose the building materials.
It's like a canary, isn't it?
He's obsessed.
I'm thorough. I have this whole card catalog system. Did an interview process on the crew. I just need some information. So we're thinking about going turn of the century in here. That sound good? I like to know what's under the carpet. You know, what's over my head. I chose Certainty. I really trust their products.
It's exactly what the builder said 2 years ago.
Are you gonna put this up now? Can I help? JJ?
Do you know the facts about power? Do you know how to safeguard your computer? Who protects more networks worldwide? APC.
This family confront a terrible secret, and now the healing could begin. That's who we are. That's what we do.
Family Talk, weekdays at 4:30.
Outdoor sports fanatics, set your sights on Hillsboro Outdoor Sports Center. It's the only center in the Princeton area to offer a shooting range. Plus, instructors from the Eastern Firearms Safety and Shooting Academy will help you hone your skills and knowledge. They have an extensive line of firearms, along with a full-service gunsmith, right on the premises. And their fishing and tackle department, with rods, reels, hooks, and live bait, satisfies all of your fishing needs. Whether you're a novice or a veteran, Hillsboro Outdoor Sports Center always treats you like a pro.
Now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel. Currently in your area, 67 degrees, under cloudy skies. On Saturday, we'll have temperatures in the high 70s, under variably cloudy skies. Expect fair skies on Sunday and Monday.
Got some rough weather in the Midwest tonight, and we'll show you those radars in just a moment. But first, let's get you up to date on the tropics, and there are a number of features that we want to talk about. Right in the middle of the screen, you see that fairly pronounced swirl. That is Alberto. It is a strong tropical storm and hanging on. This is about the 12th or 13th day, and really hanging in there. It actually moved around like this and has done a little bit of a curlicue, and I'll show you that track in just a moment. Now right here we have a tropical depression that is number 6. That is our new tropical depression, and then a pretty healthy wave behind that, and yet another one moving off the coast of Africa as we speak. Winds 35 miles an hour here, moving to the west-northwest at 8. The official forecast does develop it into a hurricane and takes it along towards the west-northwest here to the northern part of the Leeward Islands.
within a few days. So that's something we'll have to watch very, very carefully, obviously, and it's a little too early to tell. So far, we haven't seen explosive development. There's really no reason for that not to have occurred. We're not seeing a whole lot of shear here, and the water temperatures are fairly warm. As you can see, there's a little bit of a flare-up of convection here in these late hours, and that's pretty typical. And again, we're going to watch this very, very closely and see what it does. We take you a little farther northward, and here is Tropical Storm Alberto, and look at this thing. Isn't this crazy? The red dots, by the way, indicate where it has been a hurricane, and the yellow dots where it has been a tropical storm, and it worked up and around and got caught up in the westerlies here, and then was turned southward by an upper-level low, which is right about here. Now it's going to get caught up in the westerlies once again and move out in this direction once again. Wind 65 miles an hour. That's a fairly strong tropical storm, moving to the west-northwest at 7, and it is not going to be a threat to Bermuda, so good news there. Again, behind our TD number 6, we've got a fairly healthy tropical wave right here. We'll have to watch that very closely. Things are quiet, though, through the Caribbean and on into the Gulf. Not much going on at all. Of course, Beryl moved inland a few days ago, and as you can see, it is very, very quiet in its wake. Also some action here south of Mexico right now, but nothing organized. We'll watch this area carefully, too. And we take you back into the U.S., and we've got scattered showers and storms in the southwest here, some great big storms moving through parts of the Midwest. Terrific temperature contrast here. Temperatures only in the 60s today, this afternoon in Wisconsin, 100 plus south of this boundary. And we still do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect in central and southern parts of Illinois, also here in southwest Arizona. I'll show you that in just a moment. And a closer look for you into Indianapolis. Lots of very active weather tonight. Great big storms around Cincinnati and off to the south here. And then look at all this very, very heavy rain around Indianapolis. To the west of the city, you've had as much as 4 to 5 inches of rain, and it's continuing to come down at this hour. So flooding is going to be a concern here. We've had many reports of wind damage.